Love and Other Drugs is a 2010 American romantic comedy drama film directed, produced, and co-written by Edward Zwick and based on Jamie Reite's 2005 non-fiction book Hard Sell: The Evolution of a Viagra Salesman, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Anne Hathaway, Oliver Platt, Hank Azaria, Josh Gad, and Gabrielle Macht. The film tells the story of a medicine peddler in 1990s Pittsburgh who starts a relationship with a young woman suffering from Parkinson's disease. Love and Other Drugs was released in theaters on November 26, 2010, by 20th Century Fox and grossed $103 million against a $30 million budget. Now let's see what happens in the movie. In 1996, Jamie Randall is fired from a Pittsburgh electronics store for having sex with his manager's girlfriend. His wealthy brother, Josh, offers to refer Jamie to a friend for a job as a pharmaceutical sales representative. After attending a 6-week Pfizer training program, Jamie goes to work for the company, attempting to get doctors to prescribe Zoloft and Zithromax. He is rebuffed, much to the dismay of his regional manager, Bruce, who sees Jamie as his ticket to the big leagues of Chicago. Bruce suggests that if Jamie can get Dr. Stan Knight to prescribe Zoloft instead of Prozac, other doctors will follow his lead. Afterward, Jamie tries to gain access to Dr. Knight by flirting with his female employees, while secretly discarding the Prozac samples. Dr. Knight eventually allows Jamie to observe him examine one of his patients, Maggie Murdoch, who suffers from early-onset Parkinson's disease. Taking an interest in Maggie, Jamie obtains her number from one of Dr. Knight's assistants. Having successfully landed a date, Jamie and Maggie soon agree that neither is interested in a serious relationship, and they start having casual sex regularly. Jamie is later beaten up by top-selling Prozac rep, Trey Hannigan, who discovers that Jamie has been discarding the samples, and warns Jamie not to mess with him. That night, Jamie is unable to get an erection during sex with Maggie. She teases Jamie and comforts him by asking what happened. During the conversation, Maggie reveals that Trey is an ex-boyfriend. To cheer him up, she tells him rumors about his company developing a new drug to treat erectile dysfunction. Bruce confirms that such a drug, to be called Viagra, is about to be marketed. Jamie soon starts selling Viagra, an instant success. Jamie wants a committed relationship, but Maggie refuses. Jamie confronts her while she helps senior citizens onto a bus bound for Canada to obtain cheap prescription drugs, and they get into an argument. 2 days later, after waiting all night for her at the bus stop in his car, he greets her back. Maggie is touched, and they resume their relationship. Jamie spends nights at Maggie's apartment. One night, he tells Maggie that he loves her, the first time he has ever said that to anyone, and has a panic attack. Maggie calms him by saying she said "I love you" to a cat once. Later on, Jamie asks her to go to a Chicago medical conference with him. She ends up at a Parkinson's discussion group across the street and is moved by the people and their stories. Jamie meets a man whose wife is in the final stages of the disease and asks for advice about Maggie. The man tells him to leave her, citing the downsides of the disease as time passes. After the convention, Maggie tells him how much she loves him. Jamie starts researching Parkinson's and takes Maggie to different specialists around the country for tests. Jamie becomes angry when he arrives at an appointment only to discover it has been rescheduled after they had flown in about 2,000 miles specifically to see the doctor. Maggie realizes that Jamie can only love her if there is a hope that one day there will be a cure, and decides to break up with him. Jamie and Josh are invited to a pajama party by night, and Jamie ends up having a threesome with 2 women. He awakens with a rare reaction from taking Viagra and he goes to the hospital. Sometime later, Jamie goes to a restaurant and runs into Maggie, who is on a date. Bruce shows up and reveals Jamie has been promoted to the Chicago office. While packing to move to Chicago, Jamie finds the videotape recorder where he taped himself and Maggie talking about life. Jamie realizes he wants to be with Maggie, but her boss tells him she has left for Canada to obtain drugs. Jamie flags down her boss and tells her that she makes him a better person and that he loves and needs her. She starts to cry and says she will need him more. Jamie decides not to take the job in Chicago. Instead, he attends medical school at the University of Pittsburgh and stays with Maggie.